Parsha vayikrא, something very nice from Rabbi Yitzchok Zatzal. And it says in this week's Parsha, it speaks about all the different types of korbanos, for sin offerings, and it says an example: if somebody became impure and then he went to the Beis Hamikdash, he has to bring a sin offering. And then it says if he's wealthy, he's a osher, then he brings a sheep or a goat, nice size animal. If he's not so wealthy, we call him a dal, poor man, poorer. He could bring a bird. And if he's really poor, we call him dale dalus, very poor. He could bring even flour. Soiless. So we see there are three types of korbanos. For a rich man, an animal. Poor man, you could bring a bird. And very poor, you could bring flour. What's these three types of korbanos, and why are the three levels? Explains Rabbi Yitzchok there are three types of Jews in the service to Hashem. You can have a Jew who has a rich relationship that's symbolized with like an animal who's full. He has a lot of meat, a lot of pounds. Osher, it's called wealthy, a wealthy animal. You have a bird, it's kosher, but how much does it have? Pound, 2 pounds. We don't have a lot of meat over there, but it's something. And then you have flour, that's even less. The value is even is not so much. Another difference is by an animal and by a bird, they can have an offspring. They could affect, to procreate, so to say. Flour doesn't. It is what it is. So explains Rabbi Yitzchok brought down the Chassidus in the Kabbalistic language. This will be these three levels. A rich man has what's called Pchines Teferes. A poor man has Pchines Yisoid. And a very poor man has Pchines Malchus. I'll give you a simple example. Let's say there's a Jew. He has no understanding of Hashem. He doesn't know what all the mitzvahs are all about. And every time he has to do a mitzvah, it's like he has to break himself, he has to force himself, he has to make a skafia. He does it because he's committed to it. But every time, he has to work on it. That's a very poor relationship. Then you can have another Jew who he's committed to the mitzvahs. He has some feeling, some warmth to it. He does what he has to. And every time he comes to shul, you have to get daven. Okay, he gets it over with. I did what I had to. He has a feeling to daven, but it's not a rich one. It's really a poor one. Then you can have another Jew who, when he does a mitzvah, he does it with great richness. He understands what he's doing. He has a feeling what he's doing. And that's midas ataver. That's true beauty. And this could be in any relationship. You can have a relationship, for instance, shalom bayis. You can have a relationship where, two people got married. They don't really like each other. They just accept this is what it is. And they just do what they have to. Each one goes their own way. They live the best way they could. And they go by. That's a very poor relationship. Then you have two people that have a pretty good relationship, but they like also their distance. And not always is it a very warm relationship. Then you can have a wonderful true shalom bayis where they want to spend time with each other as much as they could, and they can be together 24 hours a day, and they don't get in each one's way. They really enjoy each other so much. That's a very rich relationship, or oshir, and that's what Hashem really wants. It doesn't mean you have to spend 24 hours together, but the fact, even when they're away, they feel for each other every day. They miss each other a lot. They really have a strong bond, a strong feeling for each other every moment of the day. Same thing as you can have two neighbors. You can have two neighbors, they don't really get along with each other. And every time each one leaves, they hope they don't bump into each other. If they do, they give like this, a forceful smile and hello. Then you have two people that are neighbors. They get along, pretty nicely. They don't really invite each other, but they're cordial. And then you have two neighbors that are really, really friends. really, really have a wonderful relationship together. And that's called a oshir, a rich relationship, a poorer relationship, and a very poor relationship. Now this is the same thing as what Hashem too. Hashem asks every Jew, I want you to be like an animal, which means you should have a lot of meat, you should have a lot of value. Do a mitzvah which have a very warm relationship. Accept all mitzvahs, Hashem says. So even if you're poor and you're not really into it, but you're doing it and you have a feeling in some way to do it, that's also fine. And if you have to break yourself and have what's called a skafia and you're still doing it, p'chinas malchus, you do the mitzvah also. But these are the three levels, and Hashem really wants a Jew should work on himself, that he should have the true richness of doing a mitzvah. And the Rebbe explains in many places, that we spoke many times, that really only comes when a person learns Chassidus. Then he knows what he has to do, and then also his whole mind and heart, and he does a mitzvah in the way of oshir. And that's the three levels of oshir, dal, and dalos, rich, poor, and very poor, corresponding to the three levels of how every Jew has a relationship to Hashem. And there's all three types, and that's why there's three types of kabbanis. But ultimately Hashem wants every Jew should be blessed with ashirus, with richness.